everyone, and welcome to another round of 12 News Weekend. I'm Karima Devine. Here at 12 News, we strive to bring you the very best journalism in the Valley. That is why each week we'll rewind the tape to show you some of our best stories. Some will make you laugh, some will make you cry, and some will make you feel. This is 12 News Weekend.
Biologist Don Swan and his colleagues at Saguaro National Park are regularly bombarded with questions about the majestic cactus, but even the most seasoned desert scientists can find themselves stumped on one topic.
And one of the questions we get a lot is about their roots. Not much is actually known about the details of those root systems, so what we're doing today is trying to get a better understanding of those roots.
A planned expansion of the park's east entrance has created a unique opportunity.
Yeah, obviously in Saguaro National Park we don't go up digging saguaros from the park. The saguaros are all protected here.
But these saguaros will need to be relocated to make room for the new entrance, giving researchers a chance to dig and study their roots.
We're exposing the roots, we're measuring how deep they are, how wide they are, and how they might interact with roots of other plants, and then really how far out they go.
Many visitors expect saguaros to have deep roots. They actually maintain a shallow root network that can extend as far or even farther as the cacti is tall.
So the lateral roots are not just important for taking up the water, but also for structural stability of this plant. If you think about the desert soils too, we don't have a water table that's 3 feet below the surface here. So they're not really going down for water. They're just taking advantage of water that's falling on the surface during a rainstorm.
The research is also looking at how saguaros respond to being moved.
And what we're finding today, these saguaros were transplanted here many years ago, 50 or 60 years ago, and they seem to be capable of putting out some good long lateral roots after they're moved. And that may be more difficult for the older ones.
Swan says the estimated 2 million saguaros inside Saguaro National Park seem to be growing slower than they did in the 1970s, likely due to longer drought periods and higher temperatures.
Make sure that people that come here 50 or 100 years from now will be able to see and enjoy saguaros like we are today. And we use science to kind of get an understanding of what are the dynamics, what are the things that saguaros need to survive, and if we can help them in any way, we will.
In Tucson, Kyle Simchuk, 12 News.
As we celebrate Black History Month, we take a look at the Arizona Informant, a weekly newspaper serving as a voice for the African American community for more than 50 years.
12 News journalist Brenda Lipinski visited their headquarters and spoke to the family who's been keeping this newspaper's legacy alive.
The Arizona Informant has been producing articles since 1971, recording Black history every week for future generations to come.
So this is one of my favorite. It's a copy of when President Obama spoke at ASU on the campus there.
Clovis Campbell Jr. is a former state representative and the publisher of the Arizona Informant, a newspaper chronicling the stories and contributions of the African American community for more than half a century.
Our goal is to continue to provide our community with the news that they want to see and hear about themselves, and in a positive manner at the same time. These are our founding publishers.
A newspaper started by his father, Clovis Campbell Sr., and uncle, Dr. Charles R. Campbell, who were also making history.
It is that my dad was a former state senator, and at the time, he was concerned about not getting a lot of news about the African American community, and even more in general, about some of the legislation he was working on. Because he was the only African American at the legislature at the time, it was pretty hard for him to get some support from the news media. So he and his brother, Dr. Charles Campbell, bought the newspaper from a company that hadn't been publishing it for a couple of years. It only published one issue. And they bought the name and the rights to the whole program for $1 whole.
A legacy Campbell Jr.'s wife and children have also been part of.
It's kind of a tradition. I have my children come here and help, and we put labels on our papers every week that go out.
His daughter, Shanette Campbell, says her grandfather eventually became blind, but the family helped keep him connected to the paper's production as long as possible.
Me and my brother, we would always help him when it was time to do our labeling for the newspaper. We would guide him and guide his hand to put it on the paper. So for us, that was like a special part for me. He would tell us stories about the paper, different things that he had to overcome and obstacles just trying to get the newspaper up and going.
The family looking back at a foundation that they helped build, intending to keep it going as long as possible and inviting everyone to be part of the journey.
Is our newspaper for just black people? No, it's about black people, but it's for everyone to learn about not only who our people are, but also learn about some of the black history and the heritage that we've had in the state of Arizona.
The newspaper also has a nonprofit called the Arizona Informant Foundation, which focuses on improving health, education, and programs that support Black and African American artists. Brenda Lipinski, 12 News.
If you travel around Phoenix, you are bound to pass murals of African American trailblazers who have made an impact on history. And some of them you may or may not know.
Yeah, 12 News journalist Brenda Lipinski caught up with a nonprofit organization, Shining Light Foundation, to talk about the artistic history that we walk or drive by all the time.
This is a phenomenal. I'm taken back by this.
Gisette Knight with Shining Light Foundation says this wall over at Dunbar Lawrence Elementary has a story to tell.
Without these individuals, we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't have the freedoms that we have today.
There's Ida B. Wells.
Ida B. Wells was one of the founders of the NAACP, and she also was known for documenting lynchings that happened in the South.
The Paul Lawrence Dunbar.
And then we have Paul Lawrence Dunbar, who was a poet. He became the first African-American poet to earn national distinction.
And W.E.B. Du Bois, an activist and founding member of the NAACP. A history lesson of Black trailblazers depicted all over Phoenix that her organization helped paint. This one over on 7th and Buckeye.
Here we have the Robert Smalls mural, and behind us is the ship that he commandeered called the Plantar. So on my right, you have younger Robert Smalls, the captain of the ship. And on my left, you have Senator Robert Smalls, because he also was the first African-American senator, congressman for South Carolina. And of course, because of Jim Crow and all those things, he lost his seat.
Another one at the South Phoenix Community Center.
This amazing mural that's behind us features 3 phenomenal individuals. Dr. Proctor, who was the first African-American woman to pilot a space shuttle. Dr. Proctor lives in Arizona, and she also teaches out here. Now, if I recall, she did a project with ASU where they shot one of her art pieces from space. Dr. Mae Jameson, who was the first African-American woman to travel to space, and the late, great Michael Anderson, who died on entry. He was one of the astronauts that were on the Space Shuttle Columbia.
And this one at the Central Avenue location of Lolo's Chicken and Waffles.
This is our chef's mural, and of course we pay homage to the ladies in that industry. So we have, of course, the lovely Mrs. White from Mrs. White Golden Rule Cafe, a local favorite here in Phoenix, Arizona. Then we have Leah Chase, who is deemed the queen of Creole cuisine. And then we have Lucille Smith, who created the first hot biscuit mix.
With many more murals across town, hoping to keep Black history alive.
It almost makes you want to cry because these are our ancestors. And they didn't just help the Black community, they helped all minority communities. Without these individuals, we wouldn't be here today.
Shining Light Foundation has a map of all the murals they've painted. You can find a link to that on our website, 12news.com. Brenda Lipinski, 12 News.
For 6 days straight, protesters have been filling the streets advocating for immigrant rights.
They have a misconception that being here undocumented, all of us are criminals. That's not the reality.
But as the sun sets, the peaceful protesters seem to go home, and we've watched several of these demonstrations take a violent turn. From criminal damage to street racing. Clearly it got out of hand. Actions of demonstrators have led to police declaring unlawful assemblies and using pepper balls to disperse crowds. There's been at least 2 arrests this week.
We don't condone to none of this.
Organizations who are trying to send a message of solidarity say these actions are diluting the purpose of the demonstrations.
It's okay to feel angry, but it's not okay to act on that.
Reina Montoya, the founder and CEO of Aliento, Arizona, works to serve undocumented DACA and families of mixed immigration status.
If we really want to be a community that they're seeing all our contributions, that they're seeing that we want to really be part of this country, I think it's really important that the message that we sent out is a message of unity, a message of peace.
Some protesters at Wednesday's 50 protests in 50 states rally went out of their way to make sure the event stayed peaceful.
Making sure we're not blocking any streets, making sure when large groups are crossing that they're crossing safely. It's not good optics if we're making people angry.
Montoya encourages people to redirect their emotions toward change that can be positive.
There's ways that we can show up. There's ways that we can continue to raise our voice, but making sure that we're doing it with a message of hope and peace.
A half-court shot like that in a college or an NBA game would likely make SportsCenter's top 10. This was at Sandra Day O'Connor High School last night during a special halftime game.
You could watch that over and over again, right?
Just the support for this young guy.
It is. 12 News journalist Colleen Sakura is speaking with the senior with special needs who made the shot about why this moment means more than any prize.
Hey, here.
The gym floor at Sandra Day O'Connor High School.
Just like yesterday, just like all the time.
A familiar spot.
One more.
To find senior Jackson Heilman.
I used to love basketball since I was a freshman.
Right next to the Eagles boys basketball team.
We call him Young Boo on the team. He's always at our practices. He's our guy. We love him.
Colton Watson.
More power, let's go.
A junior.
We're in half court working on drills. He's on the other side shooting half court shots. He's working on his form, working on his three-pointer.
Jackson is a basketball savant, and he loves basketball. They treat him like any other person on the team.
Half court here.
He always has the ball in his hand. So to say I'm surprised, I wouldn't say I'm too surprised because he makes those all the time.
A little different than here.
You're cheering me on?
During halftime against rivals Boulder Creek. Jackson did.
Yeah.
But it's not the shot.
I'm really happy that happened, and I'm really proud of the way the crowd reacted.
It's what comes next.
That's what makes me so emotional.
Deb Heilman is Jackson's mom.
He has always been accepted by everyone here. And to see that culmination of all of that last night in that one instance, that to me represents exactly what has happened here at this school and with the student body and with Jackson.
What does that mean to your mom?
Everything. Everything.
Saying this moment shows just that.
I want parents of kids with special needs to know that their kid can participate, that they can be accepted.
Oh, yeah, young Bill.
A reminder to a couple extra chances.
One more, guys, one more. Come on.
Can mean this.
Yes!
We just need a little bit of extra time. We need a little bit of extra patience.
Yes!
And anything can happen.
Colleen Sakura, 12 News.
The greatest show on grass may actually be the best landscape for you to take a few strokes off your score. PGA Master Professional and top 10 golf instructor Martin Chuck says, while we may not be able to rope the ball like the pros, we can certainly learn a valuable lesson by watching them set up for each and every shot.
Take note as they walk in and they assemble the club in their hands, they set the club behind the ball, they look at the target. It's kind of a symphony, really. They walk into the ball, they waggle, they hit a shot. Hopefully the outcome's pretty good. But no matter what, they do it every single time.
Routine to your regime will develop consistency. But Martin adds, knowing exactly where you're aiming can be an easy fix, and it's only going to cost you a couple bucks.
If you get a simple aim stick, You know, you can get them at Home Depot, Lowe's for $2. They're basically driveway markers. And that way, when you look up, you can see, you know, where am I looking and get a relationship to the target. Because otherwise, you don't really know where you're aiming. You might think you're aiming at the target unless you train with something on the ground and then look to the target and kind of build that familiarity to where you're looking. You probably aren't aiming well, so you need to train that in.
Nice.
Golf's popularity has grown beyond guys just going to the club. The National Golf Association tallied more than 45 million people played golf in the United States during 2023.
I'm glad everybody's getting on board. It's something I fell in love with when I was a little kid.
As far as how my game is going, well, when you're married to your instructor, it's something like this.
Here's some more for you.
I don't know, mine was good, so I don't know what your problem is.
Well, you're the teacher, so I am your problem.
I had an 8-iron, it's about 154, and you know, just laser focus, deep breathing exercises. That's it.
It's a walk in the park for somebody like with your skill.
What are you gonna do?
Ever get used to 16 and hitting that shot there, or hitting the shot around golf crowds?
I tend to rise to the occasion around crowds, so fingers crossed today that happens. For me, it's club down, swing it easy. Have fun. Again, this community is so awesome.
When the word on the street is you're the best golfer here, like that's what I just keep hearing, that you're really, really good at golf.
I don't know who's telling you that, but I appreciate whoever's telling you. I'm not bad. So I was probably 3 or 4 years old. My dad played, my grandpa played. My brother played professionally for a little bit, so it's kind of been in the family.
What are your favorite shots?
I can hit the ball about a mile, so the driver is always fun for me.
Well, Tori, what's it like being out here?
Wait a minute, remember our first date? We had a date on this hole, remember that? We had a good time.
Yeah, I did.
Coop was with us, it was a good
remember
day.
you draining like a 70-foot putt?
I'm going to do it right now.
Out of the bunker too as well?
Yeah, stay tuned, it's going to happen.
What do we got? Wednesday, first of all.
Happy Wednesday, baby. Happy Wednesday.
Coach, what's it like to be out here? It's the second year for you.
Awesome, man. Look at the sun's shining. It's, what is it, February 5th? It's 75 degrees. I love this place. And I'm going to hit it pretty good. I'm going to hit it pretty good today, Cam. I'm going to roll the rock, too. Our chiropractor, Doc Maynard, gave me a little putting lesson about a week ago, and it changed my life. So,
you mind sharing the info?
Just get that ball a little bit more in the middle to front of your stance. I was hitting it with a descending blow. He's like, no wonder you push everything.
Look at
so
you, details
good.
all the
time.
time.
Oh, yeah, details, man, details. Technique out here. There's a lot of technique, but I'm a field player, so.
Fire, all that, right?
That's right. That's right. Motor and violence will be going today.
Good times. Hey, did you know it's the year of the snake? D-backs taking over 16. Tori Lavello throwing baseballs in the stands. How cool is that? One of the best moments of the day, former D-backs pitcher and fan favorite Archie Bradley, just here hanging out, called out of the crowd to hit a guest celebrity shot on 16, wearing the wrong shoes and all. Bradley hits it porta potty right. It's not a great shot, but very thankful for how this valley continues to treat him.
There's getting caught off guard, and there's getting caught off guard. That was, it is what it is, you know? It is what it is, Cam.
How does it feel to be back there?
I got tears in my eyes, man. I seriously, I love this place. I love you guys. I was a freaking reliever, man, and I get treated like this out here at the Waste Management. This is more than I could ever ask for. Did you just see that terrible shot? What do you mean, what are the nerves like? I mean, that was... Yeah, it doesn't matter. I pitched in the big leagues. I don't care. You probably talked to Fitzpatrick. NFL, it doesn't matter. This is the most nerve-wracking moment in your life right here.
This week will likely be a core memory for 2 young golfers with Arizona ties making their WM Phoenix Open debuts after years of working or watching this tournament from the stands. Arizona State's golf program continues to develop elite talent like Josele Ballester. He's been here to support his Sun Devil teammates in the past, but this year the senior earned the opportunity to tee it up among the world's best.
My game has become better. I've matured as a golfer and as a person, so just show it to myself, and hopefully I can demonstrate it that I'm able to belong to this group.
The 21-year-old Spaniard is one of the sport's rising stars. He won the U.S. Amateur Championship last August, but he's not the only accomplished athlete in his family. Both of his parents represented Spain at the Olympics.
They really know how hard it is to make it to the top, and they've always been very strict with me growing up during practices, but they know how hard it is outside to compete and to actually do good. The only thing I can say is that I wish they were here, because it's going to be a really cool moment for me.
And Ballester is grouped with Frankie Zappin, the Northwest Christian High School alum and two-time state champion who is back here to play in front of his loved ones, continuing the tradition of having a local product to root for at Arizona's signature event. In Scottsdale, Lena Washington, 12 Sports.
Feel like a kid again at the Arizona Doll and Toy Museum. It's a collection of about 1,000 vintage toys from around the world. You can explore and reminisce on your own. Oh, I remember playing with Furby. Or you could take a tour.
Come on with me. The museum is nonprofit, run by volunteers for the last 35 years. So we have some of the miniature shops from Knott's Berry Farm in 1950s and 60s. Then we have the antique dolls. Most of them all came from Germany. She's about 160 years old. She's French. She has a human hair wig, and her body is made out of leather stuffed with sawdust. These are antique doll rooms. They're called room boxes.
What's the oldest toy you have in your collection?
We have what you call a millenary model. She is paper mache and wood, and from the late 1700s.
Someone looks like they're in trouble. Shh! This 1912 class is still in session. Hey, did I see somebody passing notes?
And then as we go into the museum, we start getting into more newer toys. We have the American Girl, we have G.I. Joe, Betsy Wetsy, Tiny Tears, Thumbelina, Barbies, of course. But before Barbie, the most important doll was Shirley Temple. Everybody loved Shirley Temple. Cootie was a huge game for a lot of kids in the 60s and 70s.
This is a day and age when it's all about video games. Why is it important to collect these vintage toys and put them in this museum for people to come and enjoy?
Just to know what your grandparents had or your parents and just how it has evolved. There's not a lot of even toy stores around anymore, let alone antique stores or museums. We should really look back and remember some of our good times with toys as we were children.
What was your favorite toy to play with when you were growing up?
All kinds of dolls, paper dolls mostly.
Kathy, what would you say is one of the most unusual dolls you have in your collection?
So this girl here had to have 3 different faces on her head so she could show different emotions. They just hadn't invented the eyes to close yet. She is sleeping, and so there's a pin on the top, and you will turn it and happy.
If you'd like to take something home with you to collect or play with, Barbie's my favorite, there's also a gift shop. In downtown Glendale, Crystal Long, 12 News.
I love this white coat. We got it when we first got here, and I think this is really cool.
7th grader Ariel Bowers and her 10-year-old brother Josiah, 2 of the many kids that attended the 2nd annual Black Men in White Coats Summit, hosted by A.T. Still University in Mesa.
I like seeing Black people in medical positions because I want to be a pediatric psychiatrist when I grow up.
Ariel and Josiah already reaching for the stars.
I want to be a judge.
Here, feeling inspired by the speakers.
No matter where you came from or the struggles that you had in life, you can always be determined to get to the career or where you want to be.
This is where K-12 students, their families, and members of the community came together for this no-cost event to explore healthcare careers in a fun, interactive setting, all designed to spark interest and cultivate future healthcare leaders.
Where we've been to get to this point is so empowering as well when it comes to, our future change makers and understanding that these dreams, they can come true for them too.
Black Men in White Coats was established in 2013 in hopes of increasing the number of Black men leading in the field of medicine through exposure, inspiration, and mentoring.
Thankfully, I think the culture within academia has recognized that there is a great need to create more inclusion within the space that we work in, and that there are unfortunately not enough doctors that look like I do.
Dr. Nafis Shamsuddin talks about how the dynamics have changed compared to when he first entered medical school.
I was one of 2 African Americans at my medical school in Tucson at the University of Arizona in a class size of 400 between the 4 years. Now I think we're at about 11% here of our last incoming class.
Despite the growing need for diverse healthcare providers, Black men remain underrepresented in the medical field, making up less than 3% of physicians in the U.S.
I think every person that's able to break that glass glass ceiling is able to inspire more folks.
Committed to tackling this imbalance, Black Men in White Coats works with universities and historically Black colleges and universities across the nation to show students from underrepresented communities a career in healthcare is both achievable and rewarding.
Part of knowing where you've been is having a vision of where you want to go. And in that space, there needs to be folks like us that care and want to help facilitate that.
The takeaway message?
Every person has a dream, young people especially. The key is to not give up on that dream.
Trisha Hendricks, 12 News.
Thanks again for tuning in. And remember, you can catch 12 News Weekend on Saturdays and Sundays on our YouTube channel and our streaming app, 12 News Plus. I'm Karima Devine. Have a great rest of your weekend.